Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. Man, is it a gorgeous summer-like morning. The sun is just coming up, but you can feel the warmth already, and we've got a beautiful ocean back behind with some nice big sets rolling in here and some surfers enjoying that again here in Southern California. Good morning, my friends. It's a beautiful Monday morning, and it is so great to be with you all. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share these videos with a friend, tick the bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. Of course, subscribe to Freedman Adventures, and if you get a chance, we would love to see you at some of our events. I'll let you know what some of those are for the rest of this year. This year went by so fast, it's absolutely incredible. Don't forget tonight, Tackle Shop Confessions, live from Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California, with my dear friend, Sam De La Torre. Sam's a great guy. And of course, the whole idea of Tackle Shop Confessions is that Sam can run off and grab whatever piece of tackle you want information on. He can show it to you. He can show you how to use it. He can show you how to rig it up. It's a great show. Tonight, live, 6 p.m., and we're going to have some free giveaways tonight. So you're going to want to check that out. Sam has arranged to get some giveaways. We'll find some way to ask questions and give some free product away this evening. So don't miss it. Tonight, Tackle Shop Confessions, live at 6 p.m. Looking forward to seeing all of you there, and my dear friend Sam De La Torre. October the 19th, I'll be in Costa Mesa, California with the Fibbers Christian Fishing Club. Really lovely, wonderful people. They're actually collecting shoes for our Christmas drive, where we are going to take a ton of clothing and medical supplies and so much more to our brothers and sisters in Mexico. So if you want to make my day, you got a pair of really nice used shoes, or if you want to purchase some new shoes and bring them to the speech that I will be giving on October the 19th, that would warm my heart. That would be really fantastic. On the 20th, I'll be on board the Independence shooting a brand new video on a 5-day trip, which has all kinds of promise written all over it. I mean, there's yellowfin tuna and dorado around. There's those big bluefin tuna outside. Then, of course, you've got the fish on the inside, the smaller bluefin. We'll go through all of that, but that's looking like it could be a really fun trip. No question about that. All right, my friends, let's jump into it because there is so much to cover with you all. We'll start down south of the border in Ensenada, where we have seen some really good fishing. I mean, they've got the best of both worlds down there for the pongeros right now. And that is that if you get offshore, you stand a good chance of finding yellowfin tuna or bluefin tuna or dorado or even some yellowtail on the kelp patties. The kelps, while not every single kelp is holding, in fact, I want to say like 2 out of 10, maybe a 20% chance of finding that right kelp patty. But when you do find it, man, those flatheads, those dorado have really been biting here late in the year, and I love to see that. And also, there's yellowfin tuna marauding around there. They're nice grade, 25 to, I want to say 50 pounds. Bluefin in the 10 to 40 pound range. A lot of 30 to 40 pound stuff right now. And of course, we look down to Baja, not only to see how our pongero friends are doing down there, but we look down there to see what might be pushing up into Southern California. Now, that is normally something we're talking about earlier in the year, but because of the El Nino and the warm water flow that it's created up here in our neck of the woods, we still have an influx of fish, and that means you just never know what's going to happen. And really, that has been the theme here during the past several weeks. I mean, one day you get them, one day you don't. It's really been incredible. Inshore in Ensenada, which is 70 miles south of the border. For those of you not familiar with the geography, it's a lovely coastal Baja town in Mexico with great people and wonderful food and incredible cultural experiences that you can have down there. Anyway, 70 miles down. On the local scene, you're catching some bonita, occasional yellowtail, some bass, and good rockfish and calico bass along the rugged, pristine, gorgeous Baja coast of Punta Banda. And if you go down further south, you can catch fish down there also. So all kinds of opportunities abounding south of the border, which certainly bodes well for our future also. Hey, I do want to mention the weather, what we've got. We got a little bit of wind here on Monday, and then it just goes to absolutely gorgeous, and it stays that way until the weekend when we have a forecast of some very windy weather out there on that big fish zone, which I'll get into in a moment, but that is Tanner and Cortez Bay. Let's just generally say 100 miles from some areas here in the Southern California area. It's not quite that far. Other areas, it's about that far. So 100 is a good kind of, estimate for everybody. We continue to see that big fish out there biting, and hopefully it's going to continue to do that. We'll get you all caught up on that right now. So on the offshore scene, we basically have 3 zones that we are concentrating on, or 3 kinds of fisheries. We've got that big fish zone, which is out there, Tanner, Cortez. It's a little bit of a run to get out there, but man, if those things bite, it's been incredible. There's been some incredible scores out there in that neck of the woods. Now, it is not a daily occurrence. Not every single boat gets them. Some guys have had just horribly slow fishing out there, while others have scored on this fish that I want to call 80 to 250 pounds, some bigger, some smaller, but most of it is beautiful, great fish. It's being taken on a fly line bait. That means no sinker, and it also has been taken on kite fishing as well as balloon fishing. It has been spectacular at times, and as I point out to you all the time, there's been some real clunkers out there. There's been some clunkers here on the local tuna and the Dorado and Kelp Patty Yellowtail, which I'll get into in further detail here in just a moment. But man, the opportunity to catch that size of fish, we're just all getting used to it. We're all numb to it right now. We're just thinking it's not that big a deal, which historically speaking, it truly is. It is such a magnificent opportunity, such a wonderful fishery that has developed here during the past 8 years or so in Southern California that I just keep pinching myself and thinking I'm dreaming when you see boats on a 2-day trip or a 3-day trip or even a day and a half trip back in to one of our landings with a magnificent catch of 100+ pound bluefin tuna. That is incredible. The Horizon is out right now. H&M Landing. Don't forget our Horizon trip, November the 3rd. It's a day and a half trip, $495. Includes your meals. It's a weekend leaving on a Friday night. Join us. I'll be shooting a video, our last trip of the year. Make sure you get on that one. Horizon, day 1, limits of bluefin tuna. Day 2, limits of bluefin tuna. Last time we checked, they were bumping up on limits of bluefin tuna for their 3rd day of this trip, and they had bluefin tuna to 250 pounds. Wow, that is really incredible. And as I mentioned to you just a moment ago, the weather out there is going to be gorgeous until the weekend. And again, we're looking at a long-range forecast for the weekend. It might change. It's subject to change. It's out there a ways. So sometimes those kind of predictions are not right on. But it is supposed to hoot about Saturday, and then Sunday is supposed to be pretty nasty out there. So we'll keep our eyes on that for you. Remember, you are going to need some heavy tackle. Your fly lining was 60 pound and heavier. Kite fishing and balloon fishing, you want to fish as heavy as you can get away with. Talk to your crew members on that one. And for sure, your nighttime fishing, you want 100 to 130 pound Spectra, 200 pound leader material, jigs in the 300 to 400 plus gram range to get the job done. Dropping when the captain says to drop and not a second later, and also making sure you know what depth your jig is at, because the captain can see them. He'll tell you what depth to drop at. You need that colored line that changes color every 100 feet to know exactly where you're at. And I think that perhaps is the biggest advantage you can give yourself when you're able to ascertain the depth of your jig. You're in the zone, and that reaction bite will happen for you. Now, on the local scene, we've got a couple of things going on. Local, I shouldn't use that word because a lot of people think local is half day and 3/4, but I'm talking local offshore. So, 60 miles, 40 miles in that range. We've got Kelp Patty Dorado going on. Some guys really had some outstanding fishing. And as I mentioned, some guys had clunkers, like, a couple Dorado for an entire day's fishing. We saw some scores like that yesterday. And we also have that smaller bluefin, although a lot of it is like 30 to 40 pounds right now, you still have that 10 to 18, 20 pound stuff mixed in with it. El Gato Dos. The El Gato Dos is a yacht. 6 guys, 33 on the Dorado, 8 yellowtail. That's a nice hit for them in U.S. waters, obviously, because the Dorado limit in U.S. waters is 10 Dorado per angler, while in Mexican waters is 2 Dorado. San Diego, full day boat out of Seaforth Sport Fishing, always giving it their all. And they had a nice day yesterday with Mexican limits of Dorado, 31 guys, 62 Dorado, 8 yellowfin, 4 yellowtail. Love that variety. Sea Watch, same thing out of Seaforth, full day trip, 26 guys, 12 Dorado, 6 yellowtail, a bluefin tuna. And then we had several boats limiting out on the bluefin tuna with great fishing inside on that fish that's, 10 to 40 pounds. It's gorgeous fish. The Pacifica, the Tribute, really great fishing. Limits. The Thunderbird out of Davies Locker in Newport Beach, 31 yellowfin tuna, 7 bluefin tuna. So nice hit for them. On board the Pacific Queen, a 2.5 day trip, 101 bluefin tuna. The Liberty with 80 bluefin tuna, 2 day trip. Condor limits of bluefin. The Islander, the Pegasus, limits of bluefin tuna. I don't know how it can get much better than that. And that inshore stuff, sometimes those things don't want to chew on the heavy line. You're going to have to drop down to 25-pound fluorocarbon, 20-pound fluorocarbon, something like that. As the fog all of a sudden just started rolling in here. You noticing that? I'm getting lost in the fog here. So you do have to be ready to go from the lighter stuff up to as heavy as they will bite. You want to fish as heavy a string as you can, because I'm telling you, the longer you're on them, you've heard it before, the more that can go wrong. So make sure you have some fluorocarbon in the 20, 25 pound range, right on up to 60 pound for sure. www.hobsonusa.com. Put in FA at checkout for a free gift from Greg Brown. Don't forget, we've got the El Patron out of 22nd Street Landing, beautiful San Pedro, California, and they are running regular day-and-a-half trips out of the landing. They've been really cashing in on some good bluefin, yellowfin, Dorado, and so much more. The El Patron goes on their overnight trips with only 10 anglers. Man, God, you've got plenty of fishing room, and you can really have an absolute ball. El Patron, 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, 310-832-8304. Grande, limits of Dorado, 6 yellowfin, 5 yellowtail. Really some excellent scores. And this is for landings from San Diego up to Redondo. This is all in range for those guys. I love the weather forecast after today. It's just tabletop. Beautiful. No wind. Gorgeous weather. Warm water. All bodes well for a great week to come. No question about it. And again, a reminder, November the 3rd, Horizon. They had a great trip here recently. Horizon, make sure you book today. Jump on with Friedman Adventures, our last trip of the year. It's a day-and-a-half trip. Should give us the range to either fish way out on the bank like we did the last time we were on board. We had limits of bluefin tuna, and we can also go south. We can fish in a variety of different areas. So that all sounds good to me. Island fishing is pretty much non-existent right now because, well, everybody's focused on this offshore bite, and you can hardly blame them. The offshore bite offers so many great advantages. Is that Valentino? I think so. Valentino. Hey, good to see him. So much on the offshore scene that islands are not getting looked at all that much. We're taking a look there at the Coronado Islands out of San Diego, a stone's throw from there. Get there in a couple hours. A little bit of yellowtail, calico bass, good rockfish in that neck of the woods. Same thing at San Clemente, Catalina Island. We continue to see sheep's head whitefish, occasional yellowtail. Not anything all that exciting there in that neck of the woods. And then up in the Channel Islands. Whoa. What great bottom fishing we have had out there. Excellent rock fishing out there in that neck of the woods. There is squid starting to show up over a vast area. So I'm telling you, it's looking fabulous for next year's white sea bass spring bite. I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but all this market squid, if that continues, it's just a magnet that will suck those predators in here to SoCal. We're looking at Just some phenomenal fishing, and hopefully it's going to continue. Hector Reyes was on board the Stardust out of Santa Barbara, and what a beautiful lingcod he had. And of course, we saw some great fishing up there in Morro Bay out of Burgess Sport Fishing with our good friend John Garma yesterday. Outstanding fishing, no question about it. If you want to fill it up, you can definitely do that right now. Taking a look at our coastal bite, and I'm talking 1/2 and 3/4 day, guys. There's still a little bit of calico bass around in some areas, principally down there, San Diego, Oceanside, Dana. They're continuing to pick at that, but a lot of those guys are on the rockfish. And what is wrong with that, I ask you rhetorically? It's really, really good on the bottom bite. Great eating fish, colorful, a lot of fun to catch. Same thing up here in Long Beach and San Pedro and Redondo, Marina del Rey. Some excellent rock fishing going on. They still catch some bass from time to time, but it seems like the focus is on that bottom stuff. Island Spirit up there out of Ventura Sport Fishing with great bottom fishing, the Californian, and of course our friend Tucker McCombs on the Endeavor. If he's not slam dunking out of Ventura Sport Fishing on the bigger tuna, he's catching copious amounts of bottom fish, no question about that. Taking a look at the surf fishing bite, we continue to see some okay Corvina fishing. My son Philip yesterday had a fish that was, I think, 20 inches, he said. Nice Corvina, fishing sand crabs down around Huntington Beach. We see them here. Also, nice conditions for that. Remember, those Corvina love the light line, like 6 pound, and they're in this real short water, like a foot of water is perfect. You can overcast for Corvina. They're right in here, way inside that wave that's breaking right now, right in front of that, even shallower. You just wait for that to kind of subside and then make your cast right now, because those Corvina and other surffish stage behind those breaking waves. Those waves dredge up all kinds of clams and sand crabs and sandworms, and those little devils are smart enough to stage behind there and then swim in and see what was dredged up. That's exactly where you want your bait for Corvina. You make a longer cast now if you're looking for a yellowfin croaker, spotfin croaker, halibut, although halibut get in here in this short water also, but there's been some really good fishing. And don't forget, you can get all your bait and tackle right down the street at Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California, right there on the corner of PCH and Seal Beach, and they got it all the bait you need, the tackle from surf fishing tackle right on up to big game tackle, 10% off on all your lobster gear. Also, Big Fish Bait and Tackle. Make sure you say hi to the guys for me. Also, let's get into the lobster bite, since that's a nice segue. After talking about your 10% discount, it's been phenomenal at Catalina Island. It simply can't get any better than it is right now, with guys dropping 10 nets and they pulled their first 3 and they have limits of langosta. It has been tremendous. Gilbert Hernandez was out recently. Fabulous wide open lobster fishing with the Promar Ahi Lobster Report. It's really been fantastic. I don't know how it can get much better. Eddie Villavicencio. There it is. My handwriting stuck. Villavicencio. Eddie, it's good to see you, man. Wide open. Great job on the lobster fishing. John Limbacher at Catalina Island. Wide open langosta fishing. Hoop netting. It's been really, really good. And I'll remind you all that if you search through the Freedman Adventures archive, you'll find a great seminar with Gilbert Hernandez and the great folks from Promar Ahi talking about how you can better your chances at taking home a limit 7 per angler of lobster. Really great stuff. And all the legalities, which are a little complicated, not that much, but a little bit. You need to have your T's crossed and your I's dotted. Make sure you check out that great video podcast. It's a good one. Remember, you want 10% off your gear. You can not only get it down there at Seal Beach at Big Fish Bait and Tackle, but you can do it online by going to promarahi.com. Put in Freedman 10 at checkout, and you'll be in really good shape. All right, so October the 19th, I'll be at the Fibbers Christian Fishing Club. You can show up. They want more people to come in. I think there's free pizza and soft drinks available. Don't get me in trouble with the Fibbers, but I think that is true. That's October the 19th. Then on October the 20th, I'll be on the Independence shooting a great video for you. 5 days on the Independence. November the 3rd, You don't want to miss that one. Of course, that's going to be a great trip on board the Horizon. Day and a half trip, last trip on there. Limits of bluefin tuna, and we are looking down the barrel of some outstanding fishing. It looks really good. And December the 2nd, our Christmas party at the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club. If you're a Patreon member, you mean so much to me personally. You're the life's blood of Freedman Adventures, and you get to come to the Christmas party and get a free experience, great meal, and raffles, and Santa Claus, and so much more. It truly is going to be a good one. But you still have to make a reservation. Just make your reservation by texting me at the number you see there and indicate that you are a Patreon member, and we'll take great care of you when you show up. An opportunity for me to shake your hand and thank you for all that you have done. Like this video, make sure you share it, subscribe to the channel. It means so much to each and every one of us, and leave a comment down below. Yesterday, we lost a really dear friend of mine and of the industry. Captain Eddie Leland passed away yesterday. It was a very difficult time for his family and loved ones, and for me personally. I got to be very, very close with Eddie's family. You know, I looked at his wife, Sue, just the other day when I was visiting Eddie, and I said, you know, hey, Sue, we didn't meet until Eddie got ill, till he got sick. Is that right? And she looked at me and said, what? And I said, isn't that true? Or she goes, yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Seems like we've known each other for 100 years. And I said, yeah, it does. And I did get to get really, really close with Eddie's lovely family, and my heart and prayers, thoughts, all go out to him, Eddie, and his family, and all the wonderful friends that came together in such a wonderful way, taking Eddie fishing, visiting him on a regular basis, the love that surrounded this guy. I met Eddie back in maybe 72 or so, 1972, 50 years ago, down in Redondo. He was working on the barge, and he was on the sport boats, and I was a kid that was just getting into it. Eddie and I are virtually the same age, and we carried a friendship, although I ran off to Mexico and Costa Rica, and we, you know, our friendship would happen to that, but we drift apart in terms of being together physically. And so we maintained this friendship. He's a big influence on my children, just a wonderful human being who loved more than anything in this world. I know what you think I'm going to say. You're wrong. Maybe you're not wrong. His family and his friends. He put that at the top, but he also, right behind that, a little ways behind that, fishing, this beautiful ocean of ours. And when he was out there, he had the innocence of a child. He got so excited. I mean, he's been doing this for 100 years. And Eddie, I mean, I've watched him catch big yellowfin tuna, big bluefin tuna, and I've watched him catch a perch that's about this big right here on this very beach. And his enthusiasm and excitement were equal in both of those experiences. That innocence was something that I loved about Eddie, and I will truly, truly miss. I talked about the physical separation that was a part of Eddie and my relationship, as it is with so many of us. Life happens, you get busy, you go off and do other things, and now we have that physical separation once again. I'm not going to be able to go see Eddie anymore. I'm not going to be able to spend any time with him. That physical separation for sure is something that I'll have to deal with, and all of his family and loved ones will have to deal with. But while Eddie is not here physically, he's occupying a part of my heart now. And what that does is that Eddie's always with me now, just like my parents and my other loved ones. Anywhere I go, he's always with me, and that means a lot. All right, condolences to Eddie's family, loved ones, and friends. I'll be keeping him in my heart, in my prayers, and I hope to see you really, really soon. Godspeed.
First cast coming up. Ed Leland's back. He ain't screwing around anymore.
Freaking nice bar purge.
Ah, life's good. Woo!
Good job, man.
Oh, Phil, I'm so glad you talked me into this.
Woo! What a way to start the morning briefing.